Hi, I'm Andre and I'm a black nerd with a review for you better reviews. I'm gonna talk about Creed. No, not that Creed. No, not that Creed. The movie Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan and Sylvester Stallone. This, of course, is the continuation of the Rocky saga. I'm gonna give you the good, I'm gonna give you the bad, I'm gonna give you the nerdy. First off, an apology to Creed. I was planning on seeing this movie on Thanksgiving weekend when it opened, but then something happened in my lifey life. Then, of course, we had all the trailers that popped up, and then Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So I was like, oh, I gotta go see Creed, I gotta go see it. So I finally got to see it over Christmas break, and I'm so glad I did. First, the good. A little bit of backstory. So Michael B. Jordan plays Adonis Creed. He's this juvenile delinquent who finds out that he is the son of the great Apollo Creed who fought with Rocky in the Rocky movies. If you follow the Rocky franchise, you know that Apollo Creed, spoiler alert, dies in Rocky IV in the ring against Ivan Drago. Adonis never knew that Creed was his father when he was young, and there's a whole reason they explain of why he didn't know that. I'm a creep. Yeah, just creeping on the down low. But he always had it in him to be a boxer. It's almost like Star Wars with Jedi. Like, he's just like, I have to be a fighter. I know how to do business. I got a mansion because of my dad, but yet still, I just want to get rid of all that and become a fighter, just like my dad did. I'm just like, wow, like, the force is strong with him. So of course he's like, well, my dad fought with Rocky. I gotta get Rocky to be my trainer, but Rocky's like, I'm old, man. I can't do that anymore. I'm done. I'm out of the business. But of course, eventually the two work together. He gets to become a fighter, and then the struggle becomes, does he become a fighter on his own name, or does he bear the name of Creed? This movie is great. Overall, just the drama of it is great. The comedy that's in it is great. The heart of the Rocky films and the heart of this movie is great. Taking those elements of the Rocky films that you like, putting that into the movie, but also bringing something new. They straight up Force Awakens this Rocky. And I guess they did it before Force Awakens since it came out before it. Everything you like about Rocky is in here, and there's also so much new stuff that's in here thanks to the cast and the crew and the direction. Director Ryan Coogler, he did a fantastic job directing this film. I've heard rumors that he might be the director of the Black Panther movie, and I am all for that after seeing this film. You see all these gimmicks nowadays with, oh, let's put on your 3D glasses and make you feel like you're in the movie. Nah, this movie right here, the way it's shot, particularly in these fighting scenes, is very raw. You feel like you are in the ring. There are a couple times I almost ducked because I saw a boxing glove come by or a fist come by. I was like, man, I'm about to get hit here. And one particular shot, which if you've read anything about this movie, you've probably already heard about it. There is this scene in the middle of the movie where it is a boxing match, where it literally starts from the back room all the way onto the stage, all the way through the fight, all the way to the end of the fight, all in one shot. One continuous shot. Doesn't do any cuts. If it has to go to another part of the ring, it literally moves the camera to the other part and moves back. And you can tell that it's one shot because there'll be times when it would go look like over at Rocky and it would come back and you would already see like half of a punch already happen. So you know that it was still going on. It is beautiful. It's so cool to see this one continuous shot. This is like the Daredevil episode 2 scene of the Rocky movie. Even when they're not fighting, it's still entertaining, and that goes to the cast. Michael B. Jordan, boy. I'm curious when he shot this movie. I have a feeling he shot this movie after Fantastic Four and was just like, look, y'all, I really need to bring it in this one because I can't have a 1-2 failure in the box office. I know my last film is gonna be crap, so this time, you getting that real Michael B. Jordan right here. He acts his butt off and it works. He is so good as Adonis Creed, as Apollo Creed's son. It's so mesmerizing to watch him, and you can see that he's getting in that ring. He's taking those punches. He is doing his part. It doesn't feel very Hollywood, even though they call him Hollywood in the movie. But he really does an amazing job playing that character. And Sylvester Stallone, oh my gosh. I mean, this literally is like one of his best performances ever. I mean, since being Rocky before. You know, I know a lot of times we think of him as like, oh, Rambo and Expendables and all this action stuff, but here, he's old. I'm an old man. I'm gonna train him, but man, this might be the last one for me, I don't know. He's just so good, and they're so good together. The scenes of just Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan together, they're so wonderful. They're so well done. You're enjoying when you see the boxing, and you're just enjoying when these people are being people, and that's great. The music in this is really good too. What's really interesting about the music with this movie is it'll start off with like score, like dramatic score, like this type of background music you hear in most films. And it'll slowly slip into a little nod, a little reference to the Rocky score before. And then all of a sudden it just blares out hip hop. And you may think that sounds weird, but it works so well in this movie. It's just like a seamless transition. You'd be like, I'm going to fight. fire, gonna the choir, gonna get down and say this is what I desire, gonna fight to win, gonna do it again. I'm like, what? All right, brace yourself, people. Once again with Michael B. Jordan, I gotta talk about race. So Adonis meets this woman in his apartment complex named Bianca. She's played by Tessa Thompson, and she's this up-and-coming singer. What's interesting about this is, and this is gonna sound weird, but I was watching this movie, and about halfway through I just went, huh, I can't remember the last time in a mainstream film that I saw black love. Like, usually when you have a black character in a mainstream film, it's a black male character or black female character, they usually never have a love interest. They're either always a player, or they're like the, well, girlfriend, you go get your love, I'm just gonna be over here in the corner reading the newspaper. Like, that's usually how they are in a lot of these movies. So it's very rare that you see them have a love interest, period, and then it's very rare for you to see them have a love interest with the same race. And this is not to say I have a problem with interracial relations. I love, you know me, women, every color. You can be a blue, a smurfette, I will love you. I like all kinds of love. I think you should love whoever you want to love. I'm just saying in movies, it's very rare to see a black male and black female character have a love interest and have a similar race love interest. And on top of that, I was looking at this movie and I was like, all right, you've got black male lead, black female love interest, you got hip hop music playing in the background, you got all these elements which you would normally associate with a black film. And some of you may not know what I mean by that, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. Sometimes a movie gets made for black people or with black people in it, and it's very clearly a black film. They do every single bullet point to let you know in that movie, this is for black people. There's literally one joke about race in this entire movie, and it was funny. It was only one, and it was such a quick one too. It was really cool to see that this is a mainstream film, it's a franchise film, and it has these leads and it has these elements of hip hop culture and black culture in it. Everything else about this movie is about the characters, and that's what I love about this. Look, I'm always gonna get excited when I see, you know, a black male in some movie like this, like that. You saw how I was about Finn. I will always be excited about that. But at the same time, I also love when movies don't use that as a crutch to then create the character. Everyone in this movie has flaws, they have things that they have to overcome, they have strengths, they have weaknesses, they are characters. You could literally put anybody else in these roles and the characters would still work because the characters are written well. They're written as people. You know what it's like? I'm just gonna be ego driven here. It's like me. You come here, I say, hi, I'm Andre, I'm a black nerd. I mention race every once in a while, but everything else about this channel, as you know, if you come here often, is just me talking about the stuff I like. That has nothing to do with my race. If I want to talk about Gremlins and Ghostbusters and Smurfs and Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, you're getting the same experience of fandom here as you would get with any other channel with any other race who has their fandom and that they go excited over it. Like, some people see the name Black Nerd Comedy and think, oh, he only talks about black stuff. No, it is definitely an element that creates part of who we are, but it doesn't define everything about who we are. And that's what I love about this movie. These are people, as they should be, and I hope that more movies do this in the future. I really hope that made sense. Now for the bad. This movie, like Star Wars The Force Awakens, it definitely looked at that old script and was just like, what things worked in the past? Let's just do that again. Just like in Force Awakens, there are definitely parts of this movie, even specific scenes in this movie, that are gonna feel very, very similar to stuff you had seen in Rocky movies in the past. Not to say that's necessarily a total bad thing, because again, this was sort of setting back up a franchise that hasn't been around for a while. But if you are a big fan of the Rocky movies, you will notice it right off the bat. This is a thing, and I've said it before in other reviews, something I cannot stand in movies is the part of the film where someone doesn't tell somebody something, and then when it gets revealed, everyone's all mad at everybody, or people say or do things based on the fact that they're mad about something else, but rather than just explaining what they're upset about, and it leads to everyone just not wanting to talk to each other. I can't stand that in movies, because almost every single time that happens, you know a few minutes later they're gonna come back together and be friends again. It's just very forced drama. And what's weird about this movie is there are a couple of moments in this movie, because there's a lot of times where Adonis doesn't want anyone to know that he's the son of Apollo Creed. He hides it. So there's a couple of times when that gets revealed where I thought they were gonna do that thing that I don't like, and they didn't do it. So when an element of the movie comes where they actually do that whole, like, oh, we're mad at each other, I was kind of like bummed about it, because there's so much that was going right with this movie. There was already enough drama there with Adonis and his life story and him growing up and his relationship with Rocky, his relationship relationship with Bianca, his trying to prove himself in the ring. And then there's some stuff that happens with Rocky that we find out about that we're like, oh dang, you gotta go through that again, dude. There was enough drama in itself that you didn't have to force this whole, well, now Adonis is mad at Rocky and mad at Bianca and has to pick fights with somebody. It was going so well. I feel like it almost put the movie to a halt. And then once, of course, obviously when everything gets resolved, the movie got back on track again. If your movie is good, Hollywood, stop doing that cliche. It is such a cliche. It happens in too many movies and I hate it. Please stop doing it. And I like the ending fight in this movie. I just thought that the person that he fights at the end was kind of odd. Oh, by the way, all the boxers that he fights are professional boxers, I found out. Stuntman, he's this guy in LA. What happens is Adonis goes to this gym and he's like, I'm the best boxer. Who wants to take me on? I'll give you my car if you beat me up. And Stuntman's all like, excuse me, I'm a professional boxer. Let me get in the ring real quick. Bam, driving away in your car. Oh, that's the bad guy right there. That's the guy that Adonis is gonna have to fight at the end. Ends up having to fight this guy named Pretty Ricky. I just thought that was kind of odd because Adonis really had no kind of connection prior to them meeting with Pretty Ricky, when I feel like it would have been a stronger message to be like, well, now you're gonna go back and fight Stuntman. Maybe they're setting him up for the sequel. Maybe in Creed 2 he'll have to fight him, but it just seemed kind of odd that it's like, well, now you're fighting this guy that you really have no history with. And then in the middle of the film, we meet this other fighter, Leo the Lion. Leo the Lion is the son of Rocky's friend, and Rocky's friend has been trying to get Rocky to train his son for so long, and Rocky the whole time was like, oh man, I'm old, I'm done with this. But then of course, when Rocky turns around and trains Adonis, his friend is like, what's up, man? Like, I've been trying to get you to train my son for years, and then this dude shows up, so you're thinking, oh, that's gonna be the final fight. But then that ends up being the middle fight. It's not to take away from the fight, it was a good fight, but I felt like it just would have been even more intense if you had that history go along with it. Although I will say, for Pretty Ricky, the guy he fights, he's an English fighter, got his accent and everything. And man, you want to talk about someone making an entrance into a boxing ring? Pretty Ricky's entrance is one of the best entrances I've ever seen of a real or fictional fighter. This dude walks out in a dark robe. You thought he was Kylo Ren. Like he comes out in this black robe, it's all dark, and I was waiting for him to pull out that hilt saber, and then fire starts spitting out from a dude's mouth. He's just like, boosh. All I'm saying is, if John Cena sees this movie, and he sees this sequence, mark my words, next wrestling match that John Cena does, he will come out like this. The time is now, the time is now. And now for the nerdy. Obviously there are little Easter eggs to Rocky films. You get the iconic statue, you get the stairs, you get the gonna fly now, even though that's mixed with some hip hop and dudes on dirt bikes. I especially love there was this scene where Adonis wanted to watch Apollo's old fight, so he pulls out this projector. You think he's gonna pull out a film reel or a videotape to watch it. Nah, this dude just literally brings up YouTube and goes, Apollo Creed fight against Rocky, and then a YouTube video pops up of their fight. They gonna get copyright claim. Now that this movie is successful, you know what I want? I want a Punch-Out movie. Can we do this same thing, but with Punch-Out? Have a guy play Little Mac, have a guy play Doc, get, you know, Glass Joe, Soda Popinski, Bald Bull, King Hippo, Mr. Dream, even maybe get Mike Tyson to be in it? Punch Out the movie. Nintendo. Do it! Punch Out the movie! May 6, 2016. This movie is good, man. You do need to see this movie. It is really, really entertaining. It just was nice to see a movie like this. It just had so much heart to it, and it really goes to the cast and direction. I cannot recommend this movie enough. Cleans out the road chip for me so well. If you saw the movie, let me know what you thought about it. And if you are new here, please subscribe to Black Nerd Comedy. I make new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000. Chain chomp yomp.